This last award is the 3PL Excellence Award, jointly hosted by USC and the Ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Please welcome to the stage Gene Soroka, Director of the Port of Los Angeles, and John Slangrup, CEO of the Port of Long Beach, to present the awards.
Thank you, Wink. I just kind of like saying that. Hey, this afternoon, we are going to present the 3PL Excellence Award for exemplifying an exceptional customized service model that balances cost, quality, and speed as a third-party logistics provider.
Our first award recipient is Jim DeVoe. Jim took over the reins at Tailored Service in March of 2014 and has quickly taken the company to new heights and recognition, focusing on retail and wholesale unit fulfillment services. Tailored is known for providing flexible solutions based on leading-edge technology and automation to satisfy our clients' supply chain challenges. 10 years holding various C-suite positions at FMI, Summit International Logistics, and Toll Global Forwarding. Please welcome Jim DeVoe.
Congratulations, Jim. Right on. Please.
Sure.
Oh,
you're going to say a few more.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank USC, Nick, and the two gentlemen to my left. Thanks, guys, at the Port of Los Angeles and Long Beach for honoring Tailored Services with this award. I only have a minute, so I'll make it real quick. I have a couple shout-outs to a few folks. First and foremost to my senior staff right there, guys. Stand up and take a quick bow. This is really yours, nothing to do with me, so thank you, guys. I'd like to also thank our equity sponsor, Saybrook Capital. They're somewhere in the audience. But to sum up our company in a real 30 seconds or less, we're a mid-tier 3PL. We specialize in retail. And I can tell you a story that's going to be real quick and real brief, and it'll tell you, encapsulate our company. About a year ago, I got a phone call from this gentleman who said he was looking to buy a company. And he had to get his own facility up and running. And so I said, well, we're interested. Of course we're interested. But here are the challenges. I got to get up and running in 5 months. I want a brand new facility, automated, dedicated to my operation, my customer service. So you got to bring a new building, new staff, new WMS, new material handling, and get it up in 5 months. 5 months. So thanks. That's how we earned this. So thank you guys for recognizing that. And I want to make a shout out to the gentleman who gave me that challenge, Carlos Alberini, CEO of Lucky Brand. So thanks for challenging us and letting us an opportunity to earn this. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Our next recipient is known to many, Terry Dato, CEO of DART Entities. Terry began his career at DART unloading rail cars at the age of 15. Over the years, he worked in every field of the logistics business while attending school. After graduation from USC, he operated a small local trucking business for 5 years before assuming the position of Vice President of Operations with DART Transportation Service, a nationally recognized truckload carrier. In the ensuing years, he was responsible for the tremendous growth in DART's trucking and warehousing operations throughout the United States. In 2005, Terry was elected Chairman and CEO of DART Entities, a recognized premier logistics organization. In addition to trucking, DART's warehousing operations have grown to over 6 million square feet, specializing in contract and public warehousing. Dato Properties, a division of DART Entities, of which Terry is the managing partner, has aggressively developed properties in the Southern California area. When combined with Dato Properties and its affiliates, DART Entities controls, owns, or operates over 8 million square feet of industrial property. Terry?
Well, this is quite an honor for the DART organization and all of our team members. Some 70 years ago, my father started the business. He also happened to be a baseball coach here at USC, where he managed the baseball team for 45 years and was the most successful baseball coach in the history of collegiate baseball. He always attributed that to the team. So this is, again, for the people that work for our organization, so important. One thing on a personal basis, back in the 70s, I was a student here at USC, and I had a class called Marketing Logistics. Well, back in those days, I had no idea what logistics was. But having worked in the business, I had a feel for it. It is so gratifying to see what is going on today. This group and this tremendous staff at USC, Nick and his group, now teaching young students how to manage our business. And here in the most dynamic part of the world, what better spot to have these kind of young Trojans running it? Go Trojans.
Our next recipient is Ron Massman, CEO of Dependable Companies. As a Dependable Company CEO, Ron's responsibility is to ensure the steady growth and profitability of the Dependable Companies while achieving the highest level of service to its customers. Ron earned his BS with a specialty in transportation from UCLA, after which he joined his father at Dependable Trucking, then a local delivery service with 8 trucks. He worked his way through the sales, operations, and administrative departments, and within 4 years took over as president. Under Ron's direction, Dependable acquired 30 companies and expanded operations both domestically and internationally, establishing the Dependable Companies as the full-service logistics provider it is today. Welcome, Ron Massman. Ron, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's certainly a pleasure and an honor to be here for this occasion. I'm learning a lot. I've been in this business for 51 years, but you never stop learning, and I've learned quite a bit today. I want to say something, though, with regards to my education and where it was at. Yes, I did graduate from UCLA. However, I did not discourage one bit when my daughter asked if she could come to USC, which she did, and she graduated here and is doing great. So I guess we're balanced. The gentleman to my right, I would like to also introduce to you. The award, I understand, is for the Dependable Hawaiian Express. Is that correct? I just want to validate that, or is it for the whole division? I mean, the whole. It's for all the companies. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, it was my understanding that this was primarily for our Hawaiian division, of which Brad Dector, the gentleman to my right, has been with the company since 1982 and has been president of the company since 91.
And I am an SC alum.
Well, I'll just give you then a quick rundown of the Dependable Companies in itself. Is a group of companies providing a variety of trucking, warehousing, and logistics services, along with Brad's side of the area of responsibility, which is our freight forwarding operations, which includes Dependable Hawaiian Express and Dependable Global Express. And the other well, the other divisions I don't have time, I guess, to get into because we just have a short time span up here on the stage. So I just want to say that we work very hard to ensure that we do provide the very best service to our customers. And over the years, I think we have gained a very solid reputation in the industry. And we look forward to continuing, growing our business and providing the customers with the finest service available. And with that, I will say thank you very much. We are very honored to receive this award, and much appreciated. It will be definitely displayed in your office, Brad. Okay, thank you.
So we're going to take a picture over here. Now you're going to run in a step.
So Gene, John, thank you for those presentations, and congratulations to the award winners. I don't think I've seen Terry outside of a modern day event ever, so this is kind of a first for me. What he didn't say, he talked about his dad being the baseball coach. He won 10 national championships. I mean, that's incredible, 10 national championships. So, and growing up, I grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona, Arizona State. At the same time, I had a great baseball team under Bobby Winkles, and always got upset when USC would defeat ASU for the national championship. And just one other note there that I read recently is the USC athletic director, Pat Hayden, called Terry's dad, Rod, the greatest USC coach ever. And that's quite a statement considering all the great coaches that have come through this university. So the USC Center for Global Supply Chain Management has its eyes set on winning its own championship by becoming the top program when it comes to global supply chain management. We have our second series of featured speakers up next to share more thought-provoking presentations. Up first, we have Carlos Alberini, the CEO of Lucky Brand Jeans, who will be talking about the power of strategy and brand transformation. Come on up, Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to say this. Thank you, Wink. First of all, I want to say that I'm honored to be here today. The USC is pretty close to my heart for several reasons. I have been coming to speak to the MBA class for several years with Dr. Blumenthal, and I have learned to love coming and sharing some of our stories. And I've been with several companies. I'll show you a little bit about that later on. But now I have a son that just graduated from USC in video game programming and design and engineering, and we keep getting closer and closer. So when John Rosenthal made the comment that, hey, you may want to come and address the group at this summit, I really jumped on it, and I'm very proud that we'll have an opportunity to really share our story with you. So let me just talk about what we're going to address today. So first, big thing is about my background. I think it's important that I tell you who I am and share some of the big lessons in life, basically. And then I'm going to address what Wink mentioned, the power of brand transformation and strategy. I'll show you what we inherited when we bought Lucky Brand back in February of 2014. Our key learnings to date, we have been doing this now for over a year and a half, but we had significant learnings during that time, and the strategy that we are pursuing to execute in the next few years to really grow this business. So this is a lot of data here, but probably something that you may have not noticed, I do have an accent. I was born and raised in Argentina, and we, right out of school, I went to University of Buenos Aires and earned 2 degrees there, but I was a numbers guy, chartered accountant and licensed in business administration. I always loved business. And right out of school, I joined Pricewaterhouse, and at the time, spent about 7 years there, and the firm transferred me to the US. Initially, we were just newlyweds with my wife, now 31 years together. And at the time, we came for a couple of years, and that was about 30 plus years ago, and here we are. So life has been really great. One of the big fortunes I had was that I started my career in retail, and while I was with the firm, we were in Philadelphia at the time, and retail is something that really gets into your blood. So I had the opportunity to work with many big brands and learned a lot about what strategy can do to the outcomes that you pursue as a company. So to me, strategy is probably one of the biggest things that we can do as executives to really impact the results. And in a business, you may be asking yourselves, well, you're talking about strategy and general management and business and retail. How is that connected with supply chain? If you think about what has happened to our industry other than the internet, I think supply chain is probably the single biggest factor that has impacted and disrupted this world of fashion and retail. So you are sitting in a pretty good spot right now. You think about how fast fashion was born. I mean, if it wasn't for supply chain, fast fashion would not exist. That is what gave all those companies a huge competitive advantage to really disrupt the business models that the traditional retail companies had. So I am very excited to be part of this as well, and I'm sure that I'm going to be learning a lot from you. When you think about personal things, I believe that in order to do well, passion is always critical. So, for me, I'm very passionate about what I do, and I have 2 things that I love. One is my family, and the rest is what I do, which is my work, and that is those are my hobbies, actually. So let me get into this is my family. You can see them all. I think that somebody a long time ago told me if you want to really get to know the person, you have to get to know the family, and I believe in that. And I have a wonderful one, so hopefully you will like me. This is we just celebrated the first wedding in our family. This is our oldest son just got married last year. So let's get into the topic, the power of strategy and brand transformation. We bought Lucky Brand in February of 2014, and at the time we bought it with Leonard Green, and my family made a big investment in this, so I'm all in. I just love the brand, always loved the brand. I spent many years with Guess, so I knew the industry and the space of denim. This brand was always a company that was run with a lot of integrity and authenticity, so always loved what they were doing, and they were very innovative in their space. The company was bought by Liz Claiborne back in late 90s, and they wanted to grow the company. They grew too fast and probably too abruptly and somewhat in a messy way. And then the company, when they lost the founders, they really started losing money. They brought another management team. So it has been floundering since then. The company did about $520 million back in 2013, the year before we bought it. And we had a business that was pretty well balanced. You can see here in this pie chart, there is a very balanced distribution between wholesale, retail. We have a very strong outlet business. We have some business in licensing. But overall, about a third, and a third. We are starting to really develop in a big way our e-commerce business, but so far is relatively modest, that business. We like to think that we have made that big cut about getting out of just being a traditional denim brand, and we like to think of ourselves more as a lifestyle brand. A lot of our strategy is somewhat anchored in this idea. When you think about how we approach this, and we wanted to transform the brand, we are going to grow this company, even when the company has not grown for the last about 5 or 10 years, actually. So how are we going to do it? Well, we start with the customer. We believe that everything we do has to be centered in the customer. We did a lot of customer research at the very beginning, and we learned about how the customer views the brand, what is the perception, what kind of awareness level we had, and we talked to the customer about the things that we could do to really grow the company as well. So we used all those learnings to impact how we would evolve the product, the offering, the assortment that we had. Once we had that, we thought, well, how are we going to tell the story? I mean, this company and the stores have been around for a long time. How do we market that whole idea? How do we tell the customer that we are a different Lucky brand? So we worked pretty hard on developing new ways to connect with that customer. And last but not least, the world has changed. This is not just a brick and mortar world. It's not even a wholesale type of world. We're talking about a completely different world where omni-channel and really being connected with the customer in every potential point, including when that customer is at home looking through his or her computer, is an important thing. So this is how we approached it. Well, we had about 7 key learnings that I'm going to share with you today. So the first one is the brand has a level of awareness, a level of range, and a level of elasticity that is very much unlike anything that I have seen in all my years doing this. Let me show you this chart. This is brand awareness level. So this is aided. Therefore, every time you ask a customer, well, what is your, what do you know about this company, Lucky Brand? They would know, they would recognize the name. Well, so among women's, that number is 77% of awareness level. Among men's, that number is 58% for a brand that only has $500 million of revenues, which is very small when you compare other brands that are doing a similar type of or they have in the same kind of space, but they are in most cases multi-billion-dollar brands. So huge awareness level. I also talk about things that are very relevant to today's consumer. So the brand was anchored in 4 big pillars, and these pillars are the ones that you see here. One is music, rock and roll. Another one is the whole Southern California lifestyle. The third pillar is about moto, that whole rebel-spirited type of lifestyle. And the last one is about vintage Americana. The great thing about this is that all these pillars are as meaningful and relevant today as they were back in 1990 when the brand was started. And they are relevant not only for my generation that we grew up and we saw Lucky Brand becoming a meaningful brand, but they are also relevant with our kids. They are also relevant with the millennials today. They are also relevant with people that are in the mid lives phases of their lives. So we feel that we have something that has continued to be relevant and is very authentic to the brand. The second big learning for us was about the customer. So we learned that the customer has significant disposable income. We have a very affluent customer, is extremely loyal to the brand. We have had customers that have been part of our brand relationship for many, many years. And they embrace Lucky Brand for other occasions. And I'll get into that for a minute, in a minute. So the customer, you can see here, about almost 80% of our customers are 34 and older. So just, they are in that midlife. They are significantly older than what you would think about a new fashion denim brand. And we actually embrace that, and we love that. We think that our customer is not just an individual, but a family. These are people that earn more than $80,000, across the country. And, of course, if you're talking about making $80,000 in New York or in Los Angeles, that's not going to take you that far. But when you think about the middle of the country, and we have many points of distribution, and we do a lot of business in the middle of the country, $80,000 takes you a very, very long way. We love that, of course, and we think that that customer also enjoys a very active lifestyle. So they participate in many occasions. And while they participate in those occasions, the brand is not servicing those occasions. I'm talking about going to work. I'm talking about going out. I'm talking about joining events. Now, our brand is primarily a brand that specializes and is kind of like founded on weekend wear, okay, which is perfectly all right. But we see a big opportunity to really expand into those other occasions. So we went back and asked the customers. I told you we did some customer research. And this is about a survey with about 20,000 customers that were loyal customers from Lucky Brand. So these are people that were already shopping with us. So we asked these customers, what would you, if you are buying our product, Lucky Brand, do you wear that product for weekend wear? And the answer was remarkably yes. 85%, both women and men said absolutely, weekend wear. And then we asked the question, well, how about going out? And the numbers came down significantly. And then we asked the question, how about going to work? And the numbers came down even further. So then we asked a second question, well, what if we did design and manufacture product and offer product that really would be right for you for those occasions? Would you buy it from Lucky Brand? And would you buy more product for weekend wear from Lucky Brand? Well, more product from weekend wear, they said, not really. 85%, same thing at the bottom of this chart, right? 85%, meaning, okay, we are buying as much as we would ever buy, which I think adds credibility to the answers to the other parts of the question. Because when we asked the question, okay, would you buy product for going out or going to work, the numbers went up significantly. So here we have a very active consumer that is really willing to spend money with us, and they are participating in those occasions. And I don't know about you, but I'm sure that most of us here spend much more money, buying accessories and apparel and shoes to go either out or to go to work than we do to walk our dogs on a Saturday afternoon. So big opportunity for Lucky Brand here. The third learning for us was about multi-channel. When we looked at the engine of this company, the fact that we had a multi-channel model and we had multiple distributions across the board, we found that it is a very synergistic model. We found that the opportunity for a high return investment is right there. And there are a lot of numbers on this page, but you can see these are all the channels where we participate. So we participate in specialty. This is full price stores. We have about 175 of those. We participate in wholesale. We have over 1,000 doors where we distribute our products at wholesale with retail partners. We have a very small but still relevant international business. We have a licensing business, so we collect royalties from our licensing partners. We have an e-commerce business, and last but not least, we have an outlet business. When you look at, we have opportunities to grow in every one of these areas, and you look at the EBITDA margins, or the operating margins that we have for each of these businesses, they are all very profitable. Of course, you know, just these numbers go anywhere between 10%, depending on the type of channel that we're talking about, all the way to 97% in the case of licensing. Obviously, most of the royalties are pure profit. So this was a big learning because, you know, it used to be when I was in gas, people would say, well, you know, specialty retailing, that's the place to be. You know, just kill your wholesale business. You don't need a wholesale business. Well, I think that all these businesses, when you put the brand at the center of what you do, they become very synergistic. So for example, we learn from our wholesale partners what others in the industry are about to present in the lines that is about to be delivered 3 months from now. So if we know that Capri Pants is the big thing that Donna Karan and Michael Kors and whoever is there that we are competing with on the floor is something that they believe strongly, then we will do a little bit more digging and probably we'll add a couple of Capri Pants to our line. So the synergies, and then at the same time, you know, just we can, because we have our own stores, we can test product and then go back to Macy's and say, hey, you know what, we tested Capri Pants this season in Florida, and they are selling and extremely well. You should consider doing a big program with us, and here is the product. So the synergies between the models are pretty significant. The fourth learning was about the middle of the country. You know, I mentioned that you do a lot in the middle of the country. Well, what we learned is that our stores in the middle of the country make a lot more money than our stores in the coastal markets. So let me show you this big map. You look at you know, areas like New York, New Jersey, you know, all on the coast. We are making a four-wall contribution of about 10%. Yeah, you know, same thing in the West Coast, you know, LA. You know, why is that? We compare that number to the middle of the country. That number is 18%, an 8% contribution differential between the coast and the middle of the country. Why? Well, all this fast fashion I was talking about, all the people, all those new brands, the first point, the first markets that they want to go to are the coastal markets. So what's happening to real estate for all those markets? They are really, really moving real estate up because there is so much competition for the good spaces, okay? In the middle of the country, it's a completely different story. It's a, you know, I have never seen such a differentiated, you know, just opportunity here because now real estate in the middle of the country is not something that people are looking for, and therefore the occupancy rates are significantly lower. When we look at our two universes of stores, coastal versus middle of the country, the difference in occupancy costs relative to revenues is about 10 points. So those 8 points of difference in profitability exclusively coming from occupancy. Our next key learning is about people. And I want to say something. I'm going to make a claim here. You know, just we had an opportunity to really start with a very clean slate in the company. You know, just and you know, a lot of people that are in this private equity business and they buy and sell companies, you know, they always have this opportunity. I had never been presented with that type of an opportunity. But you know, in this case, you know, I had an opportunity to really replace the entire team, and I did. And I am so happy that I did because I was able to really bring a lot of people. You know, the company had been grown with a lot of that traditional thought process that, well, you know, this is so-and-so who has been in this industry for the last 35 years. And I'm not suggesting that having experience in the industry is a bad thing. But I don't think that is the only way to be successful. So in our case, when you look at this chart, these are all the people that report directly into me, and everything that you see yellow there is new to the company from the time that we took over. And I'm very pleased with the team that we have because, and I used to look for just background in terms of experience in that particular function or industry. And now I think I look more for what are those shared values? What kind of attitude is that person bringing to the team? And what kind of passion is that, and what kind of curious mind is that person going to have? And I think that we have learned, because we brought a lot of people that didn't have direct experience in this industry, that really we were able to challenge some of the traditional models, and I'm happy that we are. The next learning is about new technologies and using third-party providers that I think with a new and updated infrastructure, they have really leapfrogged the traditional industry operators. And this is a big thing for us. You know, we, as part of the purchase of the company, we had an opportunity to really, you know, just change the entire infrastructure. In fact, we had to change the entire infrastructure because we had to disconnect from Kate Spade, the parent company, in about 15 months. And we were able to really pick the right technology for our company. So we divided the whole project into 4 big phases. The first big phase was about the distribution and logistics, you know, infrastructure. And that took place back in November of last year. And Jim DeVoe, who was here speaking and accepting that wonderful award, you know, just Jim and I go back a long time. We worked together in our former roles with another company. And when this was an opportunity and also something that we had to do so fast, of course it was the first call I made. And Jim said, I'm gonna make it happen. And he was just joining the company, Tailored, and he put together an amazing team, and here we were. In 4 months, we were up and running. This year, we're gonna distribute 22 million units out of that facility, 400,000 square feet. They put 2 sorters. They worked with SDI, who is also here today. And they did all this. They started with just 4 walls and a roof. And they were able to really create something that is pretty amazing. We are having a much better service levels than the company ever did. And you can see here, you know, some of the big things that we are trying to do to really, you know, improve our operations. These are pictures of the facility, and just a very efficient model. Our last learning is about a culture of conscious capitalism. And this is something that I think that in order to win today with people, and people impact everybody, starting with our employees, but also our customers, communities that we serve, and so forth. You know, thinking about conscious capitalism is an important thing. This is a book, John Mackey. If you hadn't had an opportunity to get closer to this theory, I'd recommend you do. I think it's a very powerful idea. The idea is that we are in business not just to make money, but to really meet the expectations of all stakeholders. In the way we look at it, we have identified all those big key, stakeholders, including employees and customers and suppliers and communities we serve, including giving. You know, it's important that we do things that are good for the world. So we took all those learnings, and then we came up with our own strategic vision. And the entire company helped us with this. So our vision statement goes like this. Lucky brand, look good, feel good, do good, inspiring everyone to lead a lucky life. And the whole idea here is that of course, we are in the business of making people look good. You know, that's the kind of product that we do. But also we believe that health is wealth. So we are starting with our own employees to really motivate them to really feel good and do things and live a healthy life. The third big piece there is about doing good, and we believe strongly that making and leaving this world to be a better place is an important part of our higher purpose as an organization. And the last piece there is that we believe that luck is not just something that happens to us. We believe that we can all take our own luck in our own hands. And we really make a big point with our employees, our associates about that. So this is what we inherited. You know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you know, our core business was denim. You know, this is a company that really distributed product in the traditional ways. We had a traditional marketing And frankly, the brand was completely focused on denim-rooted products. This is where we're going. We want to double the size of the company in about 5 years. So we're talking about $1 billion business. We want to really, for that business to be completely founded on a full lifestyle brand, as opposed to just denim-rooted. We want to provide an amazing experience with the customer. We want to, the marketing and the way we talk to the customer to really impact every point that we touch with through that connection. And we want to someday be a global brand. So how will we do it? Product. You know, we're starting to really build a product assortment that goes well beyond the traditional. So we are going after those wearing occasions. We want to increase the depth of the type of product that we are offering. We want to get into other categories like watches and shoes and home, things that we never did in the past. And we want to make sure that we can really appeal to a much broader group of customers. So out of 10 customers, we used to just appeal to about 2 of them. We want for that to be reversed. We want to appeal to 8 of the 10 that will be in contact with our product. So we have started, of course, this is a lot more product. How do we showcase that? So we came up with a new design of a store. It's in the Point. I don't know if you are in this area, but we just opened this store. It's about 5,900 square feet. That compares to about 2,500, the traditional store that we have. We added a lot of things that really enhance the shopping experience with the customer, like sitting areas throughout the store. We have different rooms where we showcase the different product. This is one of the women's rooms. We have women's and men's product displayed. This is another one of the product categories that we showcase. We have celebrated also some of the big pillars that I mentioned. This is one of them. This is a motorcycle that has been deconstructed, and each piece of the motorcycle is hanging from the ceiling. It's like an art installation. But we have brought technology to really bridge that world of omni-channel in a more effective way. And we even have an area in the back that is a whiskey bar. So we think that really just enhancing that customer experience is critical today to win in retail. I knew you would like that. All right, so marketing is another area where, as I mentioned, we did a lot of different things. The company was focused on the left here. So look at that. That is I don't know what that picture says, but I mean, definitely when you think about, here I am marketing to a family, and the mother is coming with the daughter, and they see that. I don't know who gets, interested in our brand and our product. So we decided to take a completely different approach. So we are going after a much more elevated image and one that celebrates life, and hopefully that is what you see on the right. We are also shifting resources. We're spending more money on social. We're spending more money in digital. We're spending less money in catalogs and print advertising. So the expansion plan is my last piece here. And I mentioned that we want to become a global brand someday. Today we are there. All the blues is where we are. That pick in South Africa is a licensed business that we have. But we want to continue to expand in the US. Next is Canada for us. Next is Mexico. Then we want to go to Europe, China, Japan, and Australia is next, and last is South America. So in closing, I just want to say one thing. We at Lucky Brand, we believe in culture, and we have this card that we all carry. I hope everybody carries. I carry. And it's our 10 principles. And if I can leave you with one big thing, one big thought. I just turned 60 years old, okay? And I think I've been trying pretty hard, to really achieve a point where I could say, you know what, I'm a very happy guy. And we try to put that into our principles. And probably the first principle is the most telling about that. And it says, at Lucky Brand, we all do what we love with people we love. And we tell everybody that if they are not experiencing that, if they don't feel that they're doing what they love, or if they don't think that they are with the people they love, that they're entitled to something different. And we are okay if somebody like that and doesn't have that type of passion with the team or with what they are doing if they are not part of our family. But I want to say that I'm very proud to say I love my team and I love what I'm doing. I'm living my dream. So thank you very much.
That was great, Carlos. Thank you very much. Really making us feel like we're in the mind of someone taking over a company at a CEO level, and it's amazing what you've done in just short order. And later, Carlos, I'll help explain to you what that picture on the left really meant. Up next, we have Yehuda Bassok, who is both a professor and the chair of the Department of Data Sciences here at USC. He'll be presenting on global health supply chains. Please welcome Yehuda.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here. And I'll speak about global health supply chain. This is, I think, my background is supply chain. I was doing research in supply chain. I was publishing in supply chain. And about 6 or 7 years ago, somebody came to me and told me, you know, some of your research is applied in global healthcare. Do you want to meet some people? And I said, you know, if my research is used by anybody, I would like to meet him. I'm not used to this kind of things. And that's where I started my second career in global health supply chain. And, you know, we need to ask ourselves, why do we have health supply chains? Why are we speaking about it? Is it different than traditional commercial supply chains? And the answer is yes. And one of the main things that we observe, or at least I would think, is we in global health are not maximizing profit or minimizing cost. We have to provide goods. And in the morning, when we had a breakout session about healthcare, people said it very clearly. If you don't have a product, you don't have a pair of jeans in the store, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world. If you don't have in the global health supply chain enough medicine for malaria, some children will die. And that's a major difference. So it's not about maximizing profit, it's not about minimizing cost, it's more about ensuring availability of drugs and vaccines, and that's what I will concentrate. Clearly the supply chain has other issues that are important, but I will concentrate in availability of drugs. That's the main thing that I look. There are clearly other things that are important, but we don't have enough time. So I began to look, what can I do in global health supply chain? I'm not a physician. I know nothing about medicine. So what can I do? And I began to look together with others. And one thing that became very clear is in the public health supply chain, in developing countries, the service level is around 25%. So 75% of the people that are coming to a clinic and they get a prescription from a doctor cannot get the drug. Now, this is bad by itself, in the sense that you need a drug and you don't have it, but it has some other effects that are very important. For example, these people are not likely to come back to the clinic because they're saying, why would I come back to the clinic? The doctor gave me a prescription, I cannot get it, I don't need it. And they don't come to the clinic, and their children don't come to the clinic, and they are not vaccinated, so that's a problem. Then you can see in all the countries in Africa that I've been, there is a private supply chain, and there the service level is under 65%. So a big difference that we need to ask ourselves, what is going on here? Just to compare it, in the European Union, the service level in average is around 92.5%. So big differences. There are problems of quality of drugs, counterfeit, corruption, and all these are very important. And I could speak about them, but we will not speak about it because we don't have time. We will speak about shortages. Why do we have shortages of drugs in these countries? Are shortages, for example, that we ask in rural and urban areas, are they the same? And in a minute you will see why is that an important question. What are the differences in the service level between the public and the private supply chain? And again, in a minute you will see why these questions are of interest to me. So I began to study this issue to try to understand what are the reasons of shortages. And I would like to speak about 3 cases that we were involved in. One is HIV drugs for babies in Cameroon, and another is a drug called misoprostol, and this is a case in Tanzania. And then I'll speak also about the shortages in rural and urban areas and compare them and try to come to some conclusions from these examples. So let's start with the drug. With the case of HIV drugs in Cameroon. So with time, I began to train physicians, pharmacists, and nurses in managing the health supply chain. Why is it important to train these people? Because these are the people that are managing the supply chain, the health supply chains. There are no professional supply chain people, so doctors, pharmacists, nurses are managing the system. They never had any training in supply chain. They are doing things that, if I'll tell you, you will say, this is really stupid, and we can make fun of them. But when I ask them, why are you doing it? They're saying, somebody told me, what do you want of me? What do I know? I was never trained to do these things. And I even don't like to do these things. I'm a physician. I want to be a physician. I want to treat people. I don't want to manage the supply chain. It's important, but I don't want to do it. So we train these people, and at some point we ask them, can you give me a problem that you have that you think we can help you? And one doctor raised her hand, and she said, you know, Professor Bassok, there is a drug that if you give to babies that were just born now, to mothers with AIDS, if you give the drug immediately after the delivery, it's unlikely that the babies will develop HIV and AIDS later. So what is the problem? The problem is we don't have the drug. So I said, you know, what can I do? You don't have the drug, I cannot bring you the drug. But it so happened that at the same day, at the evening, we had a meeting with the person responsible for West Africa from the Clinton Foundation. And we asked him, is that possible? And he said, look, we, the Clinton Foundation, responsible to bring the drug to the country. By law, we cannot distribute it in the country. I can assure you that in the capital Yaoundé, in the main warehouse, there is enough of this drug for Cameroon for the next 2 years. But yet, this little city, which is a university city called Boya, doesn't have the drug in the hospital. So I asked this guy from the Clinton administration, but you probably have some influence. Can you convince them to take a package, put the drug in the package, take a youngster, pay him $10, take a bus, and I have to mention here, from Yaoundé, the capital, to Boya, the city, there are good roads. So it's not the story that we many times hear that in order to deliver drugs, you have to cross 7 mountains and 7 seas and all these things. You just have to take a bus. And this youngster will bring the drugs to the hospital. Somebody will take them, will sign, and that's it. We have the drug. So he looked at me and said, why didn't we think about it? And you know, it's a question, and it's a deep question, because here you are beginning to speak about some kind of working together, public supply chain with private supply chain. You want to work together. I'll come back to it. That's one case. The other case is women that give birth are bleeding many times, and there is a drug called misoprostol that stops the bleeding. The drug is stable, meaning you don't have to keep it in a refrigerator at a low temperature, and that's very important. Why is it important? Because in Tanzania, more than 50% of the women give birth at home, not in a hospital, and they don't have a refrigerator, so you need a stable medicine. The drug doesn't have side effects. It's approved by the WHO. It was approved by the government of Tanzania. And somebody gave a donation, 1 million treatments. A year later, the donor comes, curious, wants to know how many lives of mothers did he save. But unfortunately, 1 million treatments are still in the main warehouse in the capital. They were not used at all. Why? The donor learned that physicians in Tanzania don't know about the drug, pharmacists don't know about the drug, and patients don't know about the drug. So why would anybody use it? Why would anybody request this drug if they don't know about it? And then there is the third point that I'm making. Rural, urban places, as my children are saying, same difference. Same level of shortages. So what is it that we learn here? Lots of time we hear there are shortages of funds, shortages of doctors, shortages of pharmacists, shortages of nurses, and all this is true. There are unbelievable shortages. But the question is, can we do better with whatever we have? And here you have a situation, drugs are available. It's not that the shortages are caused by not having enough funds to buy the drugs. The drugs for HIV for babies is available for the next 2 years. Misoprostol is available, 1 million units, but it's not used. It's not that story that we hear that you have to cross the rivers and you have to cross the mountains. Urban cities where you would think drug is available. Distance places, rural places, same level of shortages. What is my conclusion of these three things? These three stories, and many, many, many more. We have a problem of managing the supply chain. We, the people that are managing supply chain in Africa, they don't know how to manage it. And because of it, things are not working well. So I'm not trying to say here, look, there is enough money. There isn't enough money. I'm not trying to say there is enough doctors or there is a fantastic infrastructure in Africa. There isn't. But what I'm trying to say, we could do a lot better with whatever we have. And the problem that I'm seeing here is a problem of management. And that's why I try to teach physicians and nurses and pharmacists to manage the system. So here we have the reasons. I don't want to spend too much time about here. This is at the procurement level. But it's very common. The wrong quantity of drugs are ordered. Why is it the wrong quantity? Because no one knows how to forecast. Not only they don't know how to forecast, they don't have data. Because no one collects data, because there is no infrastructure to collect data. So that's what is the wonder, that people are basically guessing some quantity, and boom, they order it. And they order it at the wrong time. And there are many more reasons like this that I'll not go in. And similarly, at the distribution to the clinic, to the hospital, to the lower level of the supply chain, there are, again, similar reasons. So the two major things that I see is that there is no information. We are operating a system, a complex system, a lot of money is spent without information and without infrastructure to collect the information, and then there is a problem with knowledge and expertise to run this system. Clearly, there are problems of incentives. The people that are running the system are not paid on time, they are paid very little, they work very hard, so they don't really care. And there are many more reasons, but these are, I think, the more important. Does it have to be like this? So my answer, it doesn't have to be like this. Look at Coca-Cola. They bring Coca-Cola to every village. And very rarely there are shortages of Coca-Cola in the villages. Now, are they using very sophisticated equipment? No, look, they're using exactly the same thing that we are using in the healthcare system to reach the last village. But yet there are no shortages. And look how smart they are. What is this picture? So Coca-Cola, some experiments are done to deliver health products, drugs, vaccines to villages. They were packaged in such a way that you place them in the space between the bottles. So no additional capacity has to be built. And it works well. So now you can say, yes, but Coca-Cola, it's for profit, and they are making a profit. All is right. But they know to manage the system, and I can give later many examples. What is happening in the other supply chain? This is basically stolen stuff that is sold in the vegetable market. So these are drugs. And there were times that I could go to the market and look at the barcode on the packages and tell you where was it stolen from, which clinic, in which region. Clearly, no refrigeration, drugs are in the sun, quality of drugs after some time deteriorate. No one knows what is the quality. And you see it's sold near the chicken market, near the chicken places. But what can you do? People are willing to go. I'll be done in a second. People are willing to go to this market. Why? Drugs are available in the market. They go, they need malaria drug, they get it. Good, not good, we'll see later. Does it have to be this way? No. You know, some people are suggesting maybe we should use these entrepreneurs to deliver drugs, but give them some training, how you deliver drugs. You cannot buy a fridge, we understand, but at least you can put the drugs in the shade. They don't have to be exposed to the sun. And other thing, when you are dealing with drugs, at least clean your hands, wash your hands, and things like this. But people are saying, no, 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 we cannot do these things. These are not pharmacists. So there are these issues, and clearly this illustrates another issue of collaboration between public and private organization. And since I don't have time, I want, what did I do? Okay, so I want to say a few things. What do I think is what we should do? There's a life of his own. Okay. I believe that we can help. I think that training and education is the most important thing. So in medical schools, we can do on-job training, and we are doing it. But the most, now I didn't think always this way, we can develop programs in the United States and bring people from low-income countries to this program and train them in management of health supply chain. Now I want to finish with saying one thing. Why am I giving this talk to you? I am not such a nice person, so I have always some interest in what I'm doing. So what do I want? I want your help. Now, you may immediately think, oh, he wants money. And you are right, I want money. But I want also other things. You see, we are short of people that will go and deliver these training things. There are here many people that are expert, and some of them are saying, you know, going for a week to a country and doing something good is, you know, it's appealing. So if you are one of these people, come to me. We will work together because we need help in expertise, we need help in design system, we need help in teaching, and we need help in money. And with this, I'll stop.
Very much, Yehuda.
Thank you.
You know, guys, I have to make a quick comment about this. So all of us, we live in the world where 99.1% fill rate, and we get concerned about it. A broken promise of 2 missed delivery a week, we faint about it, and we really overwork ourselves. What Yehuda is talking about, he's been actually hosting this humanitarian supply chain summit for the last 6 years in Africa, and I had an opportunity first time to go there. And when you talk about the knowledge that exists in this room, the resources and information that we have, it's so amazingly, I would say, disappointing to see the knowledge not being transferred over to the humanitarian supply chain. And I truly believe the way the Doctors Without Borders, that they actually go over and does the community service for a week at a time, I think there are greater opportunities for this audience here to participate and partake in many of those initiatives in the humanitarian supply chain. Because think about it. Every basis point you improve in a fill rate saves a life. So your direct impact is not about improving the speed to market or savings in the bottom line. It's about saving human life. So truly, I think Yehuda has done some great work in that, and he would greatly appreciate if you guys are passionate about it to seek your support to do that. Let's give a big round of applause one more time.
Okay, nothing I can add to that. Did you know actor Tom Selleck went to USC? That one's a true story. Yeah, Tom Selleck went there. Our next speaker seldom is mistaken for Tom Selleck, but is often credited for successfully running a large global supply chain organization. Please welcome the Sector Vice President of Global Supply Chain at Northrop Grumman, my boss, Kevin Mitchell, who will speak on leadership, recognizing and showing appreciation for your customers.
How's everybody doing today? No way, no way. How you doing today? I need some energy. Let's go. Let's get it going. I think Wink did a good job sharing with you I am his boss. And this is Wink, and I want to acknowledge something about Wink real quick if I could. Wink has decided to retire from our company this year. And he's been an outstanding asset for how many years? 30 years with our company. So let's give him a round of applause. So if I could, I'd like to take a little different twist today and talk a little bit about global supply chain from a leadership perspective. But I'm focusing on how do you recognize and really support and acknowledge and appreciate your customers. And I'm going to appeal to a different customer than you're normally thinking about. As we go through this presentation, you'll see that I'm going to appeal to another part of you to help drive performance within your organization. So if I can go, do I have the slides? Okay. I was so used to Wink doing that for me. So if you go back to several years ago, we had a president, President Kennedy, and I love the quote, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. We stopped doing that a lot of times now within our country. We don't ask what we can do for our country. But I'm here to tell you, our corporation, Northrop Grumman, which is a great, outstanding corporation, we do this every day. When you look at the leadership and the innovation we provide to this country, all we do is think about what can we do for this country. And I'm going to walk you through, so I think you'll be able to understand how important this is to us and how we reflect that in our values and how we conduct our business. So if you go back to the beginning of air travel in the early 1900s, there was someone decided to build a plane and start flying planes. And then all of a sudden the technology started to evolve and someone said we wanted to have a winged airplane with no vertical, which is the empennage, which is the tail, and also not a center fuselage. And that happened actually in Germany and in the Soviet Union. And they looked at this capability and they tried to build an airplane and they couldn't get it quite right to be able to fly it. And then also they couldn't justify continuing to expend money on it because there was no return on investment for a product that had that type of design. So around several years later, there was a thought that maybe we'll bring a different type of aircraft, let's call it a bomber, into the fleet of aircrafts, and maybe we can utilize that design for a bomber. So Jack Northrop of our corporation and others decided what you see here today, designed the YB-49, and this was a demonstrator. And actually had a significant number of challenges, but it flew and it showed that the concept of a winged aircraft was possible. But then it died out because there was no return on investment because you could use a regular type of configuration of a fuselage aircraft with a vertical to be able to accomplish the mission at a lot less cost. And then someone decided in the 80s, what if we make it stealthy? Could that design help facilitate that? And what you see here is the design that started the concept that's known as the B-2 bomber, which is the most sophisticated bomber ever built in the world. And we build that bomber. Clap, clap, clap. And also, so that innovation and technology that we have put into that bomber does a lot of good things for this country, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But you look to the left also, the lunar lander. We built the lunar lander, and it was the first manned spaceship to land on the moon. So you look at Northrop Grumman was here with all the innovation and technology to deploy to this country. Then you go back and you see back in 1970, we had a first flight of the F-14. The F-14s are a great aircraft. It's one of the primary weapons for the Navy at that time. And there's something special about it. It did its debut in a movie called Top Gun. And Top Gun, do anyone know the name of this aircraft? It's called a Tomcat. What conflict, if he was in the movie Top Gun, will Tomcat have with this other star in the movie? Some of you are a lot younger than I. It was Tom Cruise who was the star. He got pissed off because he was TC too. TC for Tom Cruise and TC for Tomcat. But this Tomcat sold the show. It was the best part of the movie, actually. Anybody remember seeing it? So was it the best part of the movie, the airplane? Okay, you make me feel it. Okay. So you look at the technology for the Tomcat, and then you go to the space side. And the space side was really interesting. That spacecraft that you see there had the capability to track ballistic missiles from flight to when it landed or crashed. And that capability was very important to protect us because it allowed other assets we had in our military to be able to intercept and take the missile out of the sky. So when you look at the capabilities and the innovation, Northrop Grumman was there. And then you look at deeper into space. When you look to the left, we had the tracking system that we had. It's a number of satellites that circle in the orbit, and it has the capability of communicating from spaceships all the way down to sea and to land. So it's the communication network node that we need to communicate with, and it's still in existence to this day. And on the right, the James Webb Telescope. Anyone heard about that one yet? It's been in the news for quite a bit of time. This is going to change the way we look at the world going forward. This telescope can look back in the Big Boom theory and can see the constellations of different planets and other different stars as they formed throughout time. And we're going to be looking back in time so we can know what we need to do, looking for other planets existing such as Earth. So this telescope is so phenomenal that it sits, there's the Earth, there's this telescope, and on the other side is the sun. And the Earth is blocking it from the sun. So it's going to be in a situation where it's going to be at what they call 40 Kelvin. And 40 Kelvin is approximately negative 370 Fahrenheit. So what does that mean? That this thing, when it flies up into the air, when it gets there, you get one shot. It transforms, open up. You can see how large it is by the scale at the top. You can see the mirror that's at the top, how big it is. It's bigger than a tennis court. And you can never send someone over there to fix it. So it has to be right and perfect the first time. That innovation and capability will change the way we look at things in our galaxy for the rest of mankind. So I'd like to show you a couple other things that we do in our corporation. The video don't work. Wink. Back one slide, please. That's a video embedded in here. Sorry. What's that? Yes, sir. We said, Houston, there's a problem, right? Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Most of the next big things we all know and love came from one place. America's aerospace industry. In fact, American aerospace was the birthplace of innovation. Real innovation. And you know what? It still is. Today, we're inventing the next big thing in unmanned vehicles. The next big thing in space telescopes. The next big thing in microscopically small things. And the next big thing of stuff we're not even allowed to talk about. This is what we do.
So thank you. So a little bit about going forward is strategic sourcing for our corporation. Now, when you look at the cool things that we build for our nation, a couple things we have to do to be able to enable that. You start with an end-to-end global supply chain. We have it from the design all the way until sustainment. When you go from the sustainment part of the process, we look at what kind of partnerships do we have with our suppliers. And one thing in our industry, you got to have strong relationships with your suppliers. And the partnership is important so you can have financial investment from your suppliers, and they're helping you with your pursuits to lower the overall cost. When you look at also the technology futures, we got to think about things before other people think about the type of technologies required. So we have a team with suppliers going to allow us to be able to come about that type of capability. And then because this world is getting a lot smaller, all the things that we do in the United States, we need suppliers to support us in other countries as well. So we have a large network of suppliers, not only in the United States, but all over the globe. And the geopolitical considerations, and I know in a lot of different industries, we don't use it as much as we do in our industry. We go to different states, and states, they help us, and they incentivize us to bring work to their states in return for jobs, for bringing parts and supplies and different types of other business to their areas. And then we have government statutory goals. We believe in our communities, and we like to support small business because we understand how it fuels our economy as our country. So these are the things we do with our strategic sourcing to allow us to be able to be competitive and have discriminators within our corporation. And back as Steve Jobs said, you know, innovation is distinguished between leaders and followers. And we like to look at ourselves as leaders in the industry. So I wanted to share with you a little quick story. Back in 2004, I got challenged when I started working at Northrop Grumman on the F-18 program. And my boss said to me, Kevin, I need you to reduce the number of hours it takes to build an airplane by 50%. And I looked and said, yeah, right. It ain't gonna happen. It's impossible. 50%, 20-some thousand hours down to 10,000 hours. And this airplane was already been built in 10 years. So I said that was not a possible task. But then I slept on it for around a year and kept on thinking, how can I achieve that objective? And it kept bothering me. And I came to the conclusion that it's not if I can, it's when. So what we did is I had a vision to how to be able to achieve that. Then I worked with the team, and we developed a buy-in to the plan that we developed. The team had a plan. They executed the plan flawlessly. And I'll tell you, it took us around 10 years. And you think that's a big feat for 10 years to reduce the number of hours by 50% on the aircraft. And the success was sweet. So what we did is we did a little celebration for our team. And we went and got tablecloths such as the ones you have in here and did a high-scale lunch right on the shop floor, first time ever. What you don't see is in the back, my president, the executive leadership team, and then others sat on the stage with us to celebrate this great accomplishment for this team. But the part you don't know is you see all the people with their white on, they're not getting arrested, but their hands are up, they have white shirts and black. One of the objectives was for them to serve the technicians on that given day. So they had to serve the technicians their water, their food, anything they wanted them to drink or eat while they were sitting in the shop floor getting fed that day. Because ultimately, I wanted them to understand that their customer was the technician. It wasn't the Navy, it wasn't any other customer, it wasn't me, it was the technician. Because we had to give them support and give them the tools they needed to be able to accomplish their job. And that's why they was able to do such a good job. As you can see, we had the song, and I wasn't able to bring it here today, but we was able to perform Happy for them. Anybody know the song Happy? We got it queued up. We're going to have everybody stand up and do the dance. You guys ready? Not going to happen. So, but I did do it on that day, and you can see my Pharrell impersonation. I actually did pretty well. I started getting gigs at Vegas, but it was a pretty good job. But we wanted to recognize our employees for all their accomplishments, and they did a great job. Then also, I really wanted to really focus on Gandhi. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. And this is imperative to me. So you start thinking about, why do we do what we do? It's not just as a job, it's not about compensation, it's a lot more than that. When I look at it from a supply chain, we supply parts and tools and equipment so that our servicemen can have the products so the soldiers can come back home safely. And this is when I'm talking about customers. The customer is not the soldier, because the soldier is a brother, it's a sister, it's a father, it's someone that we know as a friend. So if I appeal to that, it makes me want to work even harder to bring that person back home. And that's the way we look at how we support our business. Then I want to turn and tell you about a little bit about other reasons we do it. When you look at what happened before, and you look at our country, why do we do it? We feel that the innovation and the leadership that we have for this corporation and the things that we do for this company and this country is imperative. When you look at our responsibility and our roles as an organization, we look at, right now, we build products and technical solutions that solve problems, the hardest problems in the world. And we do that to protect the freedom of our most important customer, which is the United States citizens and all of our allies. So we continue to support them with the products that we build, and when you look at all the work that we do, you can believe us, Northrop Grumman is here, and we're here to stay. So continue to maintain all of your freedom. Thank you very much.
Oops. Thank you, Kevin. It really, seeing that stuff, as Kevin mentioned, I'm retiring, but it gives me great pride in seeing all the products that we've built over the years. So it's very cool stuff. And I got to say, Kevin's got his toughest job coming up because he's going to be emceeing my retirement party on Thursday. So he's going to have the toughest critic in the crowd. All right, next up, please welcome back up to the stage Nick and Athi Natarajan, who are co-founders of the USC Women in Supply Chain Organization. Athi is also manager of global contract manufacturing at Mattel. Come on up.
Hello, everyone. So I actually wanted to start off by saying or asking how everyone is. But now that I know we are 20 minutes late, and I'm the one standing between the break and all the refreshments on a hot September afternoon, so I'm just going to skip and go straight ahead to a little exercise, which is going to brighten everyone, hopefully. So how many here in the room have daughters? So that's about 70% of the room. So imagine this. Your daughter comes up to you and asks, Dad, I see how very successful you are. I've seen all the great things you're doing in supply chain, how big supply chain is growing and evolving. So I want to be like you. I want to pursue a career in supply chain. And if you note, I said dad. Most of the time it's dad. Very rarely it's mom or mommy here in America. So what is the first thought that goes in your head? So immediately at the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, honey, it's very different. It's very different for you, and it's very different for me. Because, I'm a man, and you're a woman, and things don't really work the same way for both of us. But then, what are you going to tell her? Are you going to tell her the truth? And the clicker won't work. The numbers tell the story. So this is a statistics of the number of women who have enrolled into the Global Supply Chain Management Program since the program started. So anywhere from 30%, it started off at 30. My set, it's 35%, and then this incoming cohort, it's at 42%. So it's great. The millennials aren't ditching us. We see the front end of the supply chain pipeline getting filled up, which is excellent, right? But that's not where the issue is. This is where the issue is. Only 7% of the women currently do occupy leadership roles in supply chain. The remaining 93% are all men. This is a problem. And here's why. Research has shown that companies that are best at promoting women are able to excel and achieve higher results than their industry peers in terms of profit, revenue, market share, shareholder equity. How do they do that? How does this happen? Again, as research shows, women bring in unique skill sets such as collaboration, teamwork, being driven for results, all these skills which are proven to be very successful in today's global supply chain. Remember, global supply chain is no longer about managing a couple of plants in your hometown. It's about managing relationships across borders where you need to build a sense of collaboration and teamwork, and it comes naturally to women. And needless to say, think of the unique perspectives, the fresh perspectives that a woman can bring in an otherwise stereotyped standard discussion up at the leadership table. So what are we going to do about this issue? How can we fix this issue and, in fact, take advantage of the little edge, like having more women in leadership roles in your company, can bring to your company? What are you going to do about it? So we thought about this, and this is a problem, clearly. So I approached Nick with the idea that we need to start an organization right where talent originates, the source of talent, and start addressing this at the roots. So we started the Women in Supply Chain organization at the Center for Global Supply Chain Management. Nick immediately bought into the idea, and with my team of very trusted colleagues, we set up a very diverse executive board, including men. Nick is a board member too. And we're going to be rolling out a series of programs and events to actually mentor, coach, and guide these women to come up and break the glass ceiling and get to senior leadership levels. And in order to do that, we need all of your support. It is everyone's responsibility here in the room to actually mentor, guide, and coach these women to come up. That's my team. So companies have started to do this, and this is not the complete representation of all the companies that are doing it. This is just one example that I picked up. Companies have understood the urgency and the dire need to act on this immediately and get more women up to the leadership level. And think of the perfect symbiotic relationship, right? So they can already draw from an enriched pool of candidates to help create that gender diversity and balance in their organization, and also get an edge over their industry peers. So this is a perfect symbiotic relationship in which both the women as well as the industry could benefit. So in order to get these things moving, get the ball rolling, so we're going to be launching a series of programs and events in later end of next year. And the call to action for each of you here in this room is to actually stay engaged, participate, and contribute to the women in supply chain, your time, be a mentor, be a champion of the women who enroll into the organization, and make sure that we can break the glass ceiling. And hopefully for the upcoming supply chain summits, we can see more, or at least the same number of female speakers as we saw male speakers today. And with that, I'd like to invite Nick to come up and say a few words.
So Ati, thank you very much. I mean, you can only imagine the passion and energy as she was presenting and talking about this thing. So when she approached me, obviously, I saw the sense of desire to really make a change in our industry. What Ati did not talk about it is not only the gap that you saw, 93 to 7%, but the wage gap, the earning capacity, male versus women, is almost $28,000, an equal level. And again, I'm not drawing any conclusion based on that, and we all know in the industry, especially coming from Fortune 20 and Fortune 50 companies, that diversity is a big issue. And gender is just one piece of it. And I think as Ati mentioned, that you saw the trend in our program, we're going up in terms of the enrollment, number of women coming into the program. And I think it's prudent at this time in our group here to start to take that number and translate that into the jobs, opportunities for these women, not only to get into the marketplace, but continue to excel and be the leader of the organization, because I think that diversity will really create a greater value chain for the future generations. So thank you very much. Look forward to your support on the Women in Supply Chain. And Ati, thank you for initiating this chapter for us.